You done did two with me, man.
Hell yeah.
It's about to be a dynamic duo. I think it's gonna be. I think it's gonna end up being. I kind of see that, in the future. That's
Hell
what the
yeah.
crystal ball is telling me. You know what I'm saying?
I feel it.
But today, everyone, we are gonna go over a subject that is near and dear to me. It still influences me to this day. I got on the shirt. Smoov got on his shirt. Damn, we both repping Kakashi too.
Hey,
We repping Naruto. We repping the Leaf Village. We repping anime in general. Today, we're gonna go over one of my favorite anime. Would I say top 5? I think I would have to say top 5. Even if it
Definitely.
wasn't for story, just by like the influence that it's had. You know what I'm saying? I mean, but and that anime is Naruto. So Naruto is an anime. So how would you, first of all, for the people that don't even know what anime is, how would you explain anime to people? If someone was asking you, hey, what is anime? What's anime all about? What would you tell them?
Oh, struggles, life, decision making. There's so much more to it. There's so much more to it. It's hard to describe. It's something you can't describe until you've watched it, until somebody has watched it, and then you can kind of like mingle those ideas together and say, yeah, that's what anime is, because to everybody, anime is completely different. To me, for sure, anime is one of those action adventures, one of those tearjerker kind of things. It's gonna definitely pull to your heartstrings for sure, man. It's gonna put you in their shoes. So it's a self-reflect kind of genre also. That's how I feel. That's how I feel on it.
Anything else? Or was that it?
That's it.
I asked, and I'm glad that you said that, because I always love hearing why other people like the same things that I'm into, because we all have our different reasons for liking them. And it's always It's always interesting to hear others' take on it, you know what I'm saying, and what they see, because, we all see different things. It's funny how we can look at the same thing, but, excuse me, but see different things within that same body of work, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I always find it interesting just to hear people, and that's why I love to have these discussions, because they start to mirror our lives. Everything that you just said about anime is like a human emotion or a human experience, something that we go through. So it's something that's very relatable. For me, that's what really does it for me. I think that's why I was always drawn to it, because it was very relatable. And I guess, for all the weebs out there, I think mostly what we watch might be considered like shonen anime. You know what I'm saying? Like Naruto and Bleach and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Because there's tons of anime that I've never even gotten close to, like, looking at or touching or anything. Like, it's such a wide spectrum of anime, and people don't realize that either, because most people that I talk to, most people that I bring anime up about, these motherfuckers always think it's some hentai shit.
Yeah.
And for all you guys that don't know what hentai is, it's pretty much anime porn. That's pretty much what it is. So every time I bring up anime, they don't think about what you just said about all the emotions and the struggles and everything that you mentioned. It automatically goes to fucking hentai, and then I have to explain to them everything that you just said. You know what I'm saying? So there's this misconception on what anime is, but that's also because people look at the surface of things, and they see it as animation, and they think it's for children just because it's animated, which is just like, it makes no sense. Like, just because it's animated doesn't mean that it can't have it can't have substance. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people can't look past that, and they miss out on a lot of great storytelling because they look past that. You know what I'm saying?
Definitely.
But that's one of the big misconceptions anime has been. So I'm glad you said that as well. Like what anime is to you. So we can get people off of this misconception of us watching
Definitely.
hentai all day. But yeah, man. So we got into the anime, but I just want to ask you, man, how you doing, man? How's things going?
Good, man. Blessed. I've been studying with class and everything. I got class tomorrow, so I've been studying.
So inform the people what kind of class you're in.
I'm in acting school, so I've got acting classes once
Are you finding that pretty demanding?
No.
No? Okay.
No, because I feel like demanding is one of them things of if you ain't got a passion for it, you go with it, but you don't want to do it at all. So you just going with the flow. Like,
yeah,
nah, this is a passion for sure, and it's something I enjoy doing.
Well, that's great to hear because I know you have a lot of other things like going on in going on in your life, and for this to be something extra and also be something like almost a risk in a sense as well. You know what I'm saying? Like, pretty much rolling the dice on yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? It's good that that's not demanding. Like that being an extra and that being a change in your life. It's good to hear that's not demanding, and that really shows that you do have that passion and love for it, which is great because I love seeing you in a position to where you're fucking going for what you want to go for, and it's just good to see. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah. Staying up there. I got class tomorrow and then I got class Saturday. So I got tomorrow's class is like it's like my test run for my monologue stuff, my commercial and everything I've got. I've been working on.
I still want to hear that monologue, bro.
I got you.
We got to run through. Yeah. I can run through with you. You know what I'm saying?
So and then Saturday is my official like run for it. Basically, we're not getting graded on them at all, but it's one of the things that professors are trying to. They just want to see where you are in that stage with it, as well as like the resume stuff I'm working on too. So I'm going through that day by day, just trying to add a little bit here and there, and then kind of reflecting back on have I done plays? Have I done like little voiceovers that I've not known that I've done at all? And kind of adding those to the resume and everything. The one thing that stuck out to me that they told us about was don't put something on your resume that you aren't willing to actually do an audition at all. So like you casting for, a couple roles or anything, and somebody's like, oh, I can sing. I've got a singing on my back on my skills and everything on my resume. And you're like, okay, well, sing me a song right now on the spot. And they're like, oh, I can't do that. I've got to prep and all that stuff. And you're like, no, like they say, if you're not willing to actually do it right then and there, don't even put it on paperwork at all. So I was like,
well, I know what you're talking about because like, I'm highly into hip hop. And I watch a lot of hip hop documentaries, and I love rapping and freestyling and shit like that. So that was one thing motherfuckers would always say. That's like, motherfucker, if you can't bust a freestyle on the spot, you ain't ready. Like, you ain't fucking ready. You know what I'm saying? Or you ain't ready, or you ain't about this shit. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
That's funny, man.
It's been good. I've been working on one. Because of how we talked last time of Denzel Washington being my favorite actor. I've been working on the Remember the Titans scene on where they're at Gettysburg. So I've been trying to like run back, which is why I was saying like I've got to run through it again and stuff because I've got to go back, watch the video a couple more times so I can kind of get that like.
Oh, is that the one you're doing?
Yeah.
Oh shit, I didn't know. Okay.
Yeah.
Now it
Yeah. So I've got
gives me a better idea now.
So I'm trying to
Gotcha.
get that, like, draw that feeling and everything. So I'm working on that still with it. That's why I said it's like tomorrow when I get home is going to be my time to record it right before class and stuff, so I can kind of be like, all right, I'm good right here, or I need this work. Like, I'll know ahead of time. Okay, I need this work. Let me confirm it when they hear me do it. When they hear me perform
Mhm.
it. So, but yeah, it's going well, man. I'm hella excited about this stuff. So this is my
Okay.
shit. This is where I'm gonna be at. This is where I see myself with. So fuck
All
around and
right,
do
man.
some
Good to
voiceover for
hear.
some anime.
Hell yeah, bro. No doubt. You know what? One of my favorite fighters, Israel Adesanya.
Yeah,
He actually did a voiceover for Baki. Have you ever seen Baki?
I have. That's the I want to say boxing, but it's got some like mixed martial arts mixed in there.
Everything, bro.
Yeah, it's
Everything,
got
bro.
some.
You got to watch the original. The original is called Baki the Grappler.
Okay.
Baki the Grappler. They have this big fucking tournament, all different styles, and it's like it's raw. This is like street fight shit. Motherfuckers losing eyes and all types of shit, bro.
Oh,
Like so, yeah. So you have Baki the Grappler, which is the
okay.
original. I think that might have came out in the '90s. I'm not. Don't quote me on that. And then from there, shit, probably over a decade, man. It came to like a rebirth, and then they had it on Netflix, and it just came out as Baki. And there's also another one called Baki Hanma. So both of those are pretty good, but it just follows the story after Baki gets older and shit like that. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's one I highly recommend is
Okay.
Baki the Grappler for sure.
Definitely.
For sure.
Definitely.
All right, so back to the subject at hand, man. Naruto.
Naruto.
How did you discover Naruto? Run that
Um,
back for me.
oh
How'd you find
man,
out about it?
I'm a young jit at this point. Uh, and it was off and on. I think it was coming on. I think it was coming on Toonami, either late night. Like, I think I started probably like sometime in the week, late night.
Big shout out to Toonami, man.
Yeah, because they put
They put
a
us
lot of
on,
people
bro.
on.
Toonami put. I want to say this right now. Toonami, if you're looking, if you're listening, I appreciate you guys for putting
Thank
America
y'all.
on to anime. They put the whole America on the anime. I wasn't into anime so hard until Toonami, and then I was fucking hooked. And look at us now. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Continue, sir.
They were having everybody was getting excited, because Dragon Ball was on there, Dragon Ball Z was
Uh-huh.
on Toonami, and then even after that was when Naruto was coming on. So it's probably it's probably middle school when I first started watching Naruto, and at that point it was just like running through because it was cool to watch it. And, at that time, nobody knew what anime was at all. You considered weird if you watched Naruto. If you wasn't watching Dragon Ball Z, Yu-Gi-Oh, Pokemon, whatever, like you was not it. You was not cool.
Uh-huh.
But
I remember those days. The way
I'm
things
telling you,
change.
yes. And then once they got older, or running through Naruto and everything, just watching it was just to watch and everything. I didn't really stop to watch it for the stories, no nothing at all. I was just like, oh, I seen a bunch of fighting. I was like, oh, this is dope right here. Like, my man just got punched out real quick. My man just got
That's all
punched
it
out and he
takes.
got right back up. So
Hey,
I
that's
was
all
like,
it takes for
okay,
us, bro.
right. So I was
Some
like, all
dope
right.
ass fight scenes, and we in there, bro.
I was like, all right, man, I'm with this now. Um, so watching it through that and everything, and then it stopped once it was like, I think once I got through high school, I stopped watching it after high school, and and then it slowly started creeping back up as like a top thing to watch. Now it was anime again. So I was like, man, fuck it. Like, I'm going back into this bitch. I'm gonna start this show back over, and finally understand like who Naruto is, not what is Naruto. Who Naruto is, and not the whole show and everything. So it's definitely the younger age.
Having a little technical difficulty over here.
Technical difficulties.
I think I'm on the wrong. I think I need to change my mic, man.
Uh-oh.
All right, let's stop this real quick. Take 1 second. It's gonna take a click, and then I'll be right back on.
You good?
All right, a little intermission, y'all. Go take a piss or go do something.
Something. Do-do-do-do-do-do. Yeah.
All right, we back.
Oh.
Oh, Pete's still in here. Oh, thank you guys for
Is it
sticking
loading in?
around.
But it's not loading up.
All right.
There we go.
So,
We back
all right,
now.
back on it. Can you hear me?
Oh yeah, I can hear you.
Okay.
There we
This
go.
is a lot better.
But that's Toonami. Like I said, like we said, shout out to Toonami. That's how I discovered Naruto. For sure at a young age, man. How about you? Is it granted, like you know, people know like you're older than I am, so you definitely you've seen some of the shows before I did, before my come up on it.
I don't know with that one. It took me a minute to get into that because I would see it. I would see like the like the previews because I used to watch a lot of Cartoon Network and Toonami and shit. So I would see it on the previews, and it always looked kind of interesting. But it was the fucking voice, man.
Oh yeah,
Naruto's voice. I was like, who the fuck is this annoying kid? I'm like, I couldn't look past the fucking English voice. For those of you who don't know, in the anime community, motherfuckers be beefing, which is ridiculous, but some people love English and some people love anime and Japanese. And when we say Japanese, we mean Japanese subtitles. So Japanese audio with English subtitles, which I prefer myself, you know what I'm saying? Which I grew to love. But the voice actor for Naruto was so fucking annoying. I did not want to watch the show, but it looked cool. It looked fucking cool. I was like, shit, he's a ninja and this and blah, blah, blah. But I just couldn't look past that voice. Yeah. So I think later on I kept seeing more and more and more of it. And I'm like, you know what? Let me check this out. No, I think it might have been a homie. I think him and his brothers were into it. Him and his brothers were into it like super heavy. And he kind of convinced me to watch it. So I started watching it in English with the English voices. And then from there, I got hooked on the story, man. I started looking past the voice and just started getting absorbed in the story, and then the ninja arts and the jutsus and this and that. And it just the whole world was intriguing to me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So from there, I remember I got so deep into Naruto that I actually ran out of English episodes to watch, like in English. Yeah. That was my introduction, because you remember back then everybody was watching everything online, so I was watching everything. You know, we was watching everything free on this and that site. You know what I'm saying? So I was on there, and like that made me learn that the English dub is behind the Japanese audio. So the Japanese, when that shit's already done, there's no telling when the English dub is going to get done. Like when it's going to get over here, get recorded, and then get distributed. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I was online, ran out of English episodes, and there was nothing but Japanese left, man. And I was very reluctant, man. I did not want to be sitting there reading, bro. Like, for real. So I was very reluctant to get into it, man. But it was the fucking story, man. The story was so fucking good that I was just like, because, you know, when you're waiting for the episodes every week, it's like, damn, I gotta wait. But then it was like, okay, I can wait to hear the voices that I'm used to and not have to read, or I could be fucking ahead of the time and just read some English subtitles in the Japanese. You know what I'm saying? So that was my introduction into reading Japanese subtitles and really the Japanese language. You know, really, you know. So I started actually preferring it in Japanese. You know, which I still do now. I feel like when it's the original actor that is portraying a character, I think they're going to give it more emotional depth than to somebody that is dubbing it over. You know, they're already dubbing over somebody's created character. You know what I'm saying? So in essence, it's not really their own. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I feel that, and this is just my opinion, but I feel that the Japanese voice actors have a lot more emotional depth to their voices and how they project different emotions and shit. You know what I'm saying? And that's why I prefer it. There's only a handful that I do prefer in English. Full Metal Alchemist is one of them, the one I was telling you about. I preferred that one in English, but there's a handful that I prefer in English. But other than that, I'm pretty much watching it in Japanese. You know what I'm saying? Just reading the subtitles. You know what I'm saying?
That's you say like the voices wise too, and when you're watching it in sub, this the feel you get more feeling from it, because at some point, like, you're like, man, forget the subtitles. Like, I'm just watching it now, because now I feel like I can understand the words by seeing how everything's going. You see the emotions, and then you can hear the emotions at the same time.
Yeah.
Like, all right, you know, because
that shit hits you in the heart, man. Like, just some of the ways, like, you know, they could just be like, it could be a scene of someone crying and explaining something, and you just you want to cry yourself. Like, they really make you feel. It really grasps you, and then it sets you in this world. And it really makes you believe, like, oh, this shit's happening, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's one of them. That's the fucking beauty of freaking anime like that. Like, it don't matter what show it is. Like, it does that to you. It's up there. It's hard. It's just hard to describe, man. I try to tell. I had a friend that I was just talking to a while ago, and they were like, yeah, having a podcast on anime, and I'm like, yeah, you watch some TV, maybe you'd learn something. I don't like watching TV. I said, well, there's your first problem right there. Find some anime to watch, man. You'd be all right, you know.
No doubt. And there's anime for everyone. I'm telling you, like,
everybody.
I've seen basketball anime. I've even watched anime about a guy that he's a culinary art student. Like, there's tons of different types of anime.
It is.
Food Wars.
Food Wars. Yep.
Food Wars. Food Wars is highly sexual. I'm just gonna.
I need to.
I'm gonna warn. I'm gonna warn the people out there. If you watch Food Wars, you might see a banana that look like a dick. Something. Just be warned. Just know you heard it here that you were warned. But yeah, they've
got it.
But they don't do it. Food Wars doesn't do it in a raunchy way, though. They don't do like the sexualization of it. It's not like raunchy. It's very artistic. It's one that you can appreciate, because they do it with food to almost make food like. When you eat food, it's almost like just, it tastes so good. Everything is so well balanced that it's like orgasmic. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's the cool thing about Food Wars. So, hey, check out Food Wars if you guys get a chance.
Definitely.
Just don't watch it with the kids, though. Don't watch it with the kids around. Real talk.
Sure.
All right. So back to Naruto, man. Who was the first character that stuck out? So we go back to you discovering Naruto. Now you're starting to watch a few episodes. Who was that first character that you started to like resonate with and be like, I like this guy. This guy's cool. Or damn, I see myself in this character. Who was that person?
I didn't see myself in this character yet, but Neji Hyuga was my dog. Because at the time, like, you know, he was damn. He was popular amongst his peers, you know, one of the strong fighters. And it was literally like the bloodline for him, like excellence was there.
Hold on, to give the people a little bit of history on Neji. Neji, the character he's talking about, his name is Neji Hyuga. He's part of the Hyuga clan, which is like a highly renowned clan within the Hidden Leaf village, the same village that Naruto lives, this symbol here. The Hyuga clan has what they call like bloodline traits in English, which everyone in the clan is born with. It's basically what's it like an optical?
Yeah, it's an optical. I was about to say,
I don't know
jitsu.
what
It's
word.
not a jitsu
You
at
know
all.
what I'm saying?
But, yeah,
but pretty much they can activate their eyes to see almost 360 degrees, and they also, when they activate this ability within their eyes, they can also see the chakra flow, you know, like your flow of energy and every like chakra point in your body, like, you know, like your pressure point. They could also see this. This technique is called the Byakugan. The Byakugan also allows them to see like great distances as well, almost 360 degrees. They do have a small blind spot, like right behind the spine, small blind spot in the Byakugan. That's pretty much the only, you know, the weakness of the Byakugan. You know what I'm saying? But Neji is part of that clan, the Hyuga clan, which uses the Byakugan, which in Japanese, they call it a Kekkei Genkai, but in English, they call it a bloodline trait. So it's something that only you can get if you're within that bloodline.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
You
Neji.
said it best right there. But Neji was my dog he didn't boast too much on him being like the top of the class at all, you know. Like he was just like,
he was pretty quiet at the beginning.
Yeah, he was like,
quiet.
I know
Low-key.
I'm that good, you know, but I'm not gonna let it out and say, yeah, I'm the best amongst us at all, you know. He's a team first kind of guy. When after he kind of got his ass whooped, he was a team kind of guy.
He was a leader. He was a leader from the start.
He was a leader from the get go. But him and Naruto, when they got into it, and he got his ass kind of handed to him. He was like, all right, you know.
Classic moment in the Chunin exams.
Yes. But I always thought the Byakugan was the dopest shit, you know. Freaking
me too,
eyes
man.
white, and then just the veins pop out, and you're like, yo, that shit is dope. Because you ain't seen nobody else with something like that at all. You're just like, yo, this man is on it.
Bro, you don't know how many times I've just been walking down the street imagining myself fucking activating that shit. Shit. The Sharingan too.
Yes. You just open up an eye real quick, like Kakashi.
Yeah.
Pull that bad boy out. But
so what else about Neji stuck out to you from the beginning?
His fighting style. Yeah, he's
So inform the people what his fighting style is.
So I can't remember. I can't quite remember that name of it, but he like
the gentle fist.
Yes, that's it. He's a hand-to-hand combat kind of guy. And that gentle fist is not so damn gentle, boy. Let me tell you what. I
love that it's called a gentle fist. I fucking love that, bro.
My man be putting the paws on people, and I mean putting them on people. And
You mind if I explain the gentle fist?
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay, gentle fist, taijutsu. Now, taijutsu is hand-to-hand combat. Okay, so within this world of Naruto, you have ninjutsu, you have genjutsu, and then you have taijutsu. So these are like the 3 essentials for a ninja in the Naruto universe, okay? So ninjutsu techniques come from your actual life force, your actual life energy, which they call your chakra. You know what I'm saying? Your chakra is this life energy that's always flowing through, you know what I'm saying? So you learn how to control and mold this chakra, and it enables you to perform these ninjutsu techniques, like, lightning. And you see, this is a ninjutsu technique on my shirt. This character here, his name is Kakashi. Kakashi has a lightning style, so he's manipulating lightning using his chakra to create what he calls the lightning blade, which pretty much makes his fucking hand a lightning spear that he puts through motherfuckers' chests and kills them. So you got ninjutsu techniques that look like this. Then you have genjutsu techniques, which are illusionary techniques. So you have a lot of ninja. They're very talented in casting illusions to people, and killing people. They might kill that person within the illusion. They might put the person in the illusion so they disable them and then kill them. You know what I'm saying? So that's genjutsu, illusions. So some ninja are very talented in ninjutsu. Some ninja are very talented in genjutsu, depending on your preference.
Yeah.
And then you got taijutsu. Taijutsu is hand-to-hand combat. Taijutsu is fucking down, dirty, fists, elbows, knees, head, whatever the fuck you're gonna use.
Yep.
You got the kunai on your shirt.
Yep.
Kunai, knives, whatever. That's using taijutsu. Okay. So those are your 3 essentials for a ninja. That's what ninjas pretty much have to train across the board. Even if you have a preference in something, usually every ninja knows a little bit of, they know a little bit of, taijutsu, ninjutsu, or genjutsu, unless you're Rock Lee or Guy Sensei.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, that's pretty much it.
That man, the trigrams was my favorite because I was always trying to hit my sister with them things, and then keep moving around.
So what he's speaking of is with the gentle fist. What he's speaking of, Neji has a technique called the 8 trigrams. Now, within the Hyuga clan, they have all these secret techniques. Okay, the 8 trigrams is a secret technique of the Hyuga. It's a technique that really augments the gentle fist. Okay, because you remember when Neji was younger, he could only do the 64 palm. But as he got older, he was able to do like 120 palms and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So the gentle fist is actually used. They actually use the chakra. See, the gentle fist. Now that we're talking about it, it seems like a mixture of ninjutsu and taijutsu, because they call it the gentle fist because the gentle fist is not made to make external damage. It's meant to cause internal damage. It's meant to cause damage to your chakra points, so it can shut off the flow of chakra. If you don't have a flow of chakra, you can't mold your chakra to do ninjutsu techniques and shit like that. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So what the gentle fist does, they use it to shut down the chakra network, and they actually use their fucking fingers to hit the points, to actually hit the points in the body. So they can penetrate it so deeply that they can penetrate your chakra point and they can just shut off that whole flow of chakra.
You go limp.
You know what I'm saying?
You go limp for real. Like you're just like, oh,
exactly.
Trying to fight and shit. Whole noodle out there.
So another aspect of the gentle fist is the Hyuga also use their palms to strike. So when you see them in their stances, you know, your typical stance, you might see someone with their fist balled up. But when you see the Hyuga, their stance, they have their palms open. So that way they can utilize their palm strikes. When they hit you with these palm strikes, they actually put their chakra into your body and attack your internal organs. That's why it's called the gentle fist. It's not made for destruction on the outside. It's made to destroy you from the inside. So that's why it's actually called the gentle fist. It fucking destroys you, but it doesn't. I guess it doesn't batter you.
Yeah, it does it real nice and slow too. It gets you quick. But
so pretty much the Hyuga have created a form of taijutsu to where it doesn't matter how strong you are, how strong your muscles are, how much you lift, how good you are. You can't protect your vital organs. Like, there's nothing you can do. If they put a fucking palm and fucking explode your heart or explode your liver or whatever vital point they're going for, like, you're fucked from the inside. There's no repairing that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You can repair a broken bone and shit like that, but that's what the gentle fist is all about. That's
it. And it sped him. It increased his speed also. So you think just a normal like hand to hand combat or a normal hand to hand fight, you're like, okay, I got his kind of speed down, and then as soon as once he starts that, like, you don't see him, and you're sitting here kind of lost because you see him one moment here, he's there, that everywhere. You're like, oh fuck me, dude, like, and that's when they strike, and he hits, and you can feel them slowly, and then once he's done, it's just like everything gets like smacks you all at one time, and your body literally just, like I said earlier, like your body just goes limp, and you're just like, oh shit, and you looking up crazy. So
literally shuts your body down.
Yeah, that's my dog right there, though. Neji is my boy.
So continue with Neji. What else drew him to you from the beginning?
He's strategic. He is strategic. In anything, you gotta have a leader that is strategically sound. But will take input, but still be like, okay, we can work this, but we need to go about it in this such manner. So I seen that, and I was like, you know, that's something. At the time, like, I'm not a strategic person at all. Like, I used to be one of those that's just like head in first and let's get it, you know. But watching him, I was just like, okay, like he's not only thinking about himself at this time. He's got a whole team. He's got to consider, you know. So he's got to work everybody's skills to accomplishing that one mission, and using that. So definitely his strategic skills is something that stood out to me. He's a family oriented guy as well. Like, Hinata is his cousin. It's his younger cousin, who in this bloodline, he is her protector, because she is a princess, so he is her protector. And throughout his life, his goal, that's his thing, is no matter where they are, no matter what happens, he goes to find her. If anything happens to her, vice versa for her, like she goes to find him. He's very family oriented, so that's another thing that stood out to me, because I'm that kind of person. I'm a family oriented guy. Like, I'm all about the family. Whatever we need, whatever we got to do, I'm there with it. You know, let's get it done. What else? That might be it. Cause when I first seen Neji, that's it. When I first seen him throwing hands, I was like, oh, I'm with him. Because there are times where he's an underdog, and he doesn't see himself as an underdog, but on the outside, you're like, buddy, you kind of outmatched right here. and he comes through, and you're just like, you can't do nothing but cheer for him because you're just like, I knew you had it in you. You knew you had it in you. You just kind of overcompensated for yourself, basically. You took an ass whooping, but you also delivered out a really good one, you know.
But he got a reality check in the tuning exams.
He did.
Because even though he was like, you know, pretty low key, he was pretty arrogant. Like,
yeah, that's
you remember that fight he had with Hinata.
yeah.
He almost took her out. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. And Naruto come around and one good time up through the ground. Man, I was like, oh shit.
Yeah, but he got his character progression was early.
Yes.
Like very early in the story. Yeah. You know. And everything you can see that change afterwards. You can see that big change in him and just how he approached things, how he approached people and everything after he had that loss.
Definitely. This what about you? Like I'm gonna have to guess first because I know you got a couple styles in Naruto for sure. But
hold on. What are those styles? I want to hear them.
Because I feel like, okay, so definitely hand to hand, knowing who you are, your background style, like definitely a hand to hand kind of person. You can definitely get down with some genjutsus for real. But I will definitely say early on, granted, everybody was like, man, he ain't got nothing going on for him because he's just going to be like a place body in the show. But like, I would say Rock Lee would definitely be one of your characters that you have come in fascination with, just from his style and everything. Even before the tuning exams, just his style of training and guys, just their style of training, their heart and dedication to what they have going on. But then again, man, you can't go wrong with the freaking gates that my man opens up in the tuning exams, and then dropping his leg weights, and everybody's like, "Oh, that ain't nothing," and my man just dropped tons on the ground, like he dropped tons on the ground like they was nothing. So, would Rock Lee be? If we had to do like a top three, would Rock Lee be in your top three?
Oh, hell, definitely. He might be my number one. He might be my number one because, like you said, the hand-to-hand combat, that was like a huge part of it. He was actually, well, I think it was Zabuza who really stuck out to me first. But once I got introduced to Lee, he really stuck out to me. You know what I'm saying? Because he was goofy for one.
Yeah.
But there was just something about him where I knew the first time you remember when he rolled up on Sasuke before the tuning exam started?
Yeah.
He rolled up on Sasuke and was like, yo, I heard the Uchiha was the shit. He was like, I heard the Uchiha was the shit. Let's scrap. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Let's get to it real quick.
So he beat the shit out of Sasuke and he was about to do the Lotus on him and kill him. Until Guy Sensei came in, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So from the start, I was like, this motherfucker's he's strong because, you know, he kind of has this demeanor, like he's not really threatening, which you know he's not. But when it comes to fighting, he goes to he turns into a different person on a whole other level. You know what I'm saying? So from there, I started to watch him. I started to watch like little things he would do. Because I remember before the tuning exams, who was about to fight? There were two ninja that were about to fight. And Rock Lee ran in the middle of them and caught both of their feet before they kicked at each other. And he was kind of like, hey, let's save this for the exam. But he just like ran in the middle of them about to kick each other and fucking ran in the middle and held their feet. Like, yo, y'all chill out. You know what I'm saying? Little things like that I would follow. I'm like, this motherfucker, there's something about him, man. So then my gaze started to go towards him. You know what I'm saying? So, and then within the tuning exams, he just started showing himself, you know what I'm saying? Showing what he was made of. He had this, like, another thing that resonates with me is I'll never forget there's a part where he's in a tree, and I think is he falling out of the tree? I think he might be falling out of the tree, or some leaves are falling out of the tree. But he looks at this as like a chance to like catch all the leaves before they hit the ground, like jump down and catch all the leaves before they hit the ground. So he was always someone that was always had these little challenges for himself.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't for anybody else. He was always making these challenges up for himself. So he also had this sense of like always wanting to better himself, you know what I'm saying, in some way, which stemmed from, you know, how you were saying earlier, nobody really cared about him. He didn't really have a lot of talent in the beginning. So, you know, there's this thing that they say in the show. They always mention like geniuses, different types of geniuses, you know what I'm saying? And Rock Lee is pretty much dubbed as like a genius of hard work, you know?
Yeah.
So I could like highly resonate with that as well. You know, he's someone that didn't have a lot of natural talent, but through sheer determination and will, and then he had the right guide behind him, he started to fucking surpass everybody that was laughing at him and telling him that he didn't have talent and shit like that. So that was another thing. His underdog story, like he was underdog for real.
Yeah.
So, you know, like his underdog story, that definitely resonated as well. And it was just good to see him. He's able to compete in a world where motherfuckers can shoot fireballs and lightning and, you know, make earthquakes and stuff like that. And he's out there on par with these other ninja or shinobi, and he's holding his own within that world. You know what I'm saying? And that to me, I'm like, that's the ultimate bad motherfucker to me. You know what I'm saying? He got his hands and his feet. You know, he got the gates to back him up if he need them. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, those are reasons I definitely got into that character. And then he had that fight with Gaara, which everybody knows about the fight with Gaara, man. That was just like, after that, everybody was sold on Lee after that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like even the people that were watching the show that didn't really care for him, everybody was sold on Lee after that Gaara fight, man. You know what I'm saying? So, and seeing that fight and then seeing his perseverance, I mean, he was the first one to touch Gaara. Like, I don't think people realize how big that really was.
Huge.
He was the first person to touch this dude. He was the first person to make this dude bleed. Like, he was the first person. He was the first person to bring Gaara down to reality.
Yeah.
Like within that fight, when they had that fight, Gaara had some very terrified moments. And this whole time, Gaara's this fucking, he's this sinister figure. He's out killing people and this and that. So you got this sinister figure terrified by this guy that's supposed to be just a fucking goofball pretty much.
Yeah.
Not knowing that he's a genius of hard work. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, he just revealed himself within that, even after, you know, in the end, after he got his arm and his leg crushed.
Yeah. He
was unconscious and was still up and ready to fight, fucking in his stance, ready to fight. He wasn't even conscious. He wasn't even hip to the world. But he's developed such a strong will that even when he wasn't conscious, his body got up and was ready to keep fighting, bro. You know what I'm saying? So, like, shit like that is why I'm like, that's the one I rock with.
Oh yeah,
I rock with Lee. You know what I'm saying?
Man, I think back of Lee. When I think back to Lee, it's always his drunken fight that he had that cracks me up, and I can't remember who he fought against. Well, no, there's something with Kabuto that he had going on. And he was taking medicine at that time, but it was literally just making him drunk all the time. And his fighting
This is
stance.
another
like,
reason I fuck with him. The drunken
yeah.
fist.
my man.
Hey, I grew
was
up on
just like
mad Jackie
everything.
Chan, bro. I grew up on a lot of Jackie Chan, a lot of fucking Drunken Master. So when I saw him
Heck
doing the
yeah.
drunken fist, I was like, man, that's my
Sold.
homie. That just
Yeah.
cements it for me.
Yeah. What so Lee is your top character there. Uh-oh. We just lost him. Oh. That's no bueno. We'll be back. Here we go. We're coming back in now.
Okay.
Slowly.
Yeah.
There we go.
All right.
Can you hear me? Good.
Good. You got me?
All right. Yeah, I got you. All right. So Lee being your top character, like people would think, all right, guy's got to be the sensei that you look to, that you like, you resonate with. Is that so, or is there another sensei in the Shinobi world that you look up to, you admire?
If I was to say I was a mixture between two, it would be Guy and Kakashi.
Okay.
I have traits of both of them for sure.
Yeah. What of Kakashi? What of Kakashi do you admire?
Kakashi, from a young age, Kakashi, he was very gifted, like naturally. So he always got things done easy. You know what I'm saying? Which I resonate with when I was a kid, because like when it came to athletics or anything physical or anything like that, I was just always good at it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And with that type of natural talent comes a lot of expectations, a lot of opportunists as well. A lot of people see your abilities and they want to use your abilities for their own gain as well, which, I dealt with that as well. And then, after his dad dies, Kakashi kind of goes into this darkness, this dark place, which I like highly resonate with because I've been there before. You know what I'm saying? He joins the Anbu, which for the audience, the Anbu Black Ops, there's a section of the Anbu Black Ops that protect the Hokage. There's also a section of the Anbu that goes and does assassinations and espionage and things like that. They're more the darker side of the shinobi world, They're not your average shinobi. Even in order to be in the Anbu, you have to have an element of darkness within you. You know what I'm saying? So Kakashi gains this darkness after his father commits suicide. From there, he's really struggling to get out of it, man.
Yeah. He's closed off.
He's very closed off. He doesn't want to be, a role model or anything like that. You know what I'm saying? He's very distant because him and Guy Sensei, they've been homies since they were young.
Definitely.
He starts to distance himself from all the guys he went to the academy with and that he grew up with and shit like that. He's going out on these missions and pretty much just lightning blading the shit out of everybody. You know what I'm saying? Like Kakashi becomes known for using this technique. He becomes known for using this technique to assassinate other ninjas. You know what I'm saying? So from there, you have Guy as this figure. Guy is pretty much like the light for Kakashi. That's what I look at it as. Yep. I look at them as like fucking yin and yang. You know what I'm saying? So Guy becomes this light for Kakashi, and he starts to help Kakashi slowly break out of this darkness. You know what I'm saying? And then from there, what really helps break him out of that darkness is gaining students to teach. Now, in the beginning, he was very harsh on his students, and he had to, he had to learn different ways. He had to learn different ways to, motivate and get things done, because there was a point where like he wouldn't pass anybody, for their exams.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So he was pretty cut and dry back then. You know what I'm saying? He was fresh out of the Ambu, which all they did was fucking kill people.
Exactly.
Much.
Had to
he
be
was fresh
heartless.
out of that. Yeah. Then he was, thrust into being the sensei for these young upcoming ninja. You know what I'm saying? But these children, over time, start to soften him up and make him think differently. And I can even remember in one episode, the Hokage, the third Hokage. For you guys that don't know, the Hokage is the leader of he's pretty much the head ninja of the village, is the Hokage. I can remember the Hokage telling him, saying like he's noticing, because he had his eye on Kakashi, and I think he might have took Kakashi out of the Ambu because he saw him going to a dark place. I don't remember exactly, but he was like, I see the darkness like coming out of him, like like slowly he's bleeding all this darkness out of him. You know what I'm saying? And coming into the light, and he eventually does come into the light and becomes a prominent person within the series. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Somebody that showed early that he was willing to protect Naruto and Sakura and Sasuke. He was willing to protect them with his life. He was willing to, test them and give them good training to make sure they survived. So he really has this story. Not to include him losing his own teammate when he was younger, and losing his eye. That's another thing. But he lost his eye too,
Yeah.
But out of all that turmoil, losing friends, because he lost his whole team.
He lost his whole team. And
Obito,
his teacher.
And he killed one of his teammates.
Yes.
Yeah.
With
And
that same move.
not because he wanted to. Yeah.
No.
Not because he wanted to. He didn't kill her because he wanted to. She requested it, and I don't know how he went through with it, but she actually requested it, and he, so he had to live with killing his friend. He had to live with being there right beside another teammate when that teammate fucking got crushed. You know what I'm saying? And died. Well, supposedly died.
Yeah.
But yeah, he went through all this fucking darkness, and then he just fucking, in the end, he comes out better, having gone through that darkness, and eventually becomes the leader himself. You know what I'm saying? Of the village. But
I feel like
I really resonate with him in that.
Yeah.
Because I feel like I've done that in my life. I feel like I'm still doing that in my life. You know what I'm saying? It's not like I'm years ago when I was deep in there. Like now I'm like, I've risen, and now I'm making sure I keep that darkness off of me. You know what I'm saying?
Definitely.
So yeah, I really resonated with Kakashi through that. You know what I'm saying? Plus, he's just a badass ninja. He can do all different nature releases.
I think that is the dopest shit ever. He has to be the copycat and be able to do everything.
Yeah, exactly. He has unlimited number of techniques at his disposal. Yes. As a sensei, he took more of like I don't want to say a liking, but he started to spend more time with Sasuke, in the end. But I think overall he was a good sensei to the team. And
I feel like a part of him that started not appreciating, but more like you say, like liking towards the team is when they got into that, is when they fought Zabuza and Haku. And when Sasuke gets done in basically, and then Naruto comes in to kind of like save him. He's taking all these freaking needles to the body in front of Sasuke. You ain't gonna hear too much of like Sakura talk at all, because she's a good hand-to-hand combatist. I would give her that, but she doesn't really like come into her own until super late, until they're probably in their later in their teens.
Yeah.
So it's really like it's a 3-man team, but it's a 2-man like squad basically.
Real talk, because she was pretty much like useless, bro.
Yeah.
In the beginning,
Like
they made her kind of useless.
Yeah, like she was only a decoy for a lot of things.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Now she did hold him down in the Forest of Death. She held Sasuke and Naruto down.
Yeah.
And well, that also showed her capabilities as well. Like she couldn't really hold off anybody, because you remember even Lee came and tried to save her. You know what I'm saying? When she was fighting the Sound Ninja.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, she didn't come into her own until much later.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So, but Kakashi is like you said, he went through so much, and then to come out on top to a position he didn't even want, he never wanted at all, and to got put in it. So I definitely agree with you on Kakashi. Sensei, man, I've thought about this shit all day about what sensei I resonate with, or
you let me know.
Because man, I
had to mix two of them.
Yeah, I don't blame you there. I don't blame you at all.
I got a lot of Guy Sensei. I got a lot of Kakashi, man. You got to have both those two sides for me.
Definitely. And everything comes to like a family style, like Shikamaru's team captain, Asuma.
Yeah.
Him.
Asuma's good.
And my man had freaking legit like lightning blades.
Yeah.
That was dope that he used. I thought that shit was wicked as fuck to have.
That's why I liked him too. He had he had them hands, boy.
And my man would throw in a cigarette while he fighting. You
I was about to say,
cold.
with a cigarette in his mouth.
You gotta be a cold motherfucker to throw a cigarette in while you fighting and still be. And still have that
he'll take a drag of his cigarette in the middle of a hook, man.
My man was on it.
He was.
Then Awesome for sure, because he was a family man who was in love with another team leader. And when she didn't pass away at all, he ended up dying in a raid that happened. He ended up dying. But he took a liking towards Shikamaru, who was a mad genius. My man, just in every kind of way. Like, he wasn't the strongest, he wasn't the fastest, but could manipulate shadows, and was really damn good at it.
That was another. Was that a bloodline ability, or was that just a technique that they taught in his clan? I can't remember.
Well, his dad. I want to say it might have been a bloodline thing, because his dad could do it too.
Yeah, I think it might. Yeah, it might be. Might have been.
Yeah. But his dad also was. No, it was definitely a bloodline, because they were telepathic too. Like when they were reached out.
Yeah,
they were telepathic. So Asuma for sure. And then Jiraiya is one of my choices because of how he just goes about shit. Like,
bro,
there are times when my man just don't care.
I wasn't even thinking about him as a sensei. Like, he was.
Yeah.
I'm so happy you said him. Jiraiya is gonna be me at. It's gonna be me at 50. Is Jiraiya?
Long hair, freaking the master of Toad Sage, or the Toad Sage mode.
Tell the people a little bit about Jiraiya, man.
Jiraiya the Gallant. If y'all don't know, that is an arc y'all definitely need to watch, but you need to watch the shit in order first because it's not going to make sense if you don't. But Jiraiya is one of 3 signings, which are the top of the fucking line ninja in the world, basically. Who actually was handed the keys to the city, basically, to the village, basically, of being the next Hokage, and he turned it down. But his whole childhood, he was rambunctious. He was literally like the class clown. Like, he was always in trouble. He didn't take
always
things
trying
serious.
to watch them bathe in the bathhouse.
Always. My man was, they will tell you, he is the pervy sage.
Ero Senin.
my man could throw down with drinking. But that's not a positive right there, because that man that's not a positive.
He was a writer. That's what I resonated with him, because he was a writer. Yes. He was a traveler.
Mm-hmm. That's what I enjoyed watching Jiraiya, was the adventures, him coming back and talking to Naruto and talking to Tsunade about his time away from the village and everything. Mm-hmm. But when he finally when the 3rd Hokage, kind of gave him the ropes, after a class that he had, or let me say a lesson that he got taught, which is this 2-bell lesson. There's three members in a team, 2 bells. Somebody not eating, somebody not getting to leave training for the day or something. So, when he failed at, getting that, the 3rd Hokage kind of was like, you need to have a want for being a ninja. Like, you say you want to be a ninja and everything, you got to have a want for it. So he introduces him to the summoning jutsu, and the 3rd Hokage is like was this like ape, basically. So Jiraiya ended up becoming...
Just to kind of interject real quick for the people out there. In the Naruto world, ninja also we broke down ninjutsu, taijutsu, and genjutsu, but ninjas can also do summonings. They can summon creatures. They can summon weapons. If they summon a specific creature, they have to do a blood contract with that creature in order to summon them. But I just wanted to add that little bit in there.
You good. That's the knowledge you got to drop too. But when he finally got introduced to the sage mode, and for him to perfect it, he had to literally meditate. He had to learn and understand, what it is that he's about to start using and becoming. So he took his training at that point very seriously, to become one of those signings. Which is something I admire a lot in a person. The will and dedication to one's craft is huge, because nobody can take that from them at all. That's something that's going to go with them forever in a lifetime. So Jiraiya is definitely top senseis to watch, have as a favorite, anything. There's so much more to tell you about Jiraiya, but it's one of those things of, you just got to watch and as you go, you're just like, oh, I like this about him, I like that about him, because even when he was training,
characters we could do whole episodes on. Literally,
like even when he training Naruto, he they still clowned around and everything. But there were times where he would literally smack Naruto upside the head and be like, all right, it's time to focus. It's time to get down to business,
And he was still that nigga's money. That was fucked up, man.
That old Jiraiya
wallet
he had.
Jiraiya used to steal a little kid's money and go drinking with that shit. He would go drinking. He would go be chilling with chicks and shit. Those are some of the Those are some of the not so great things of him as a sensei. You gotta love him, though, man. You gotta love him.
You do. That is he is by far one of my favorite senseis to look up to for sure.
I'm there with you on that. And his well, we'll go into this. Whose death had the biggest impact on you? Speaking of Jiraiya.
Golly, man.
Now, if you guys haven't never watched Naruto, you about to get spoiled like a motherfucker.
Literally. So. I hope y'all ain't gonna mind it and still watch it.
Still watch it. I hope you guys don't care. But mentioning Jiraiya made me think. You can't think of Jiraiya and not think about his death. Mm-mm. As a Naruto fan, as a Jiraiya fan, you just can't not think about it. And
no.
His was the first one in the entire series where I was like, fuck, like I actually felt it.
Yeah.
Just because I loved his character so much. You know what I'm saying? So who would what was the first death or what death in the series kind of hit you in the heart, you know?
Prior to Jiraiya's was Itachi's. And I'm, even though I'm wearing a Kakashi shirt, like I am a huge Itachi fan. That is besides Neji, Itachi is my him and Neji can go 1 and 2.
Now you gotta tell people a little bit about who Itachi is.
So Itachi is, you heard us talk about Sasuke, who is an antagonist / protagonist when he feel like being one, basically. But Itachi is the older brother of Sasuke. They are the last 2 of their Uchiha clan, which are at the beginning. The Uchiha are the police force. They are the fist, basically, of the clan of the Hidden Leaf Village. And when I say last 2, Itachi was and is the youngest Anbu member at the time.
I think he's tasked. I think he was also still the youngest academy graduate.
Yeah. And who was tasked with eradicating, is a better word for this, eradicating his own family clan. Mm-hmm. Purpose, I really don't want to spoil it at all, because it just, man,
we already done told him.
It's gonna be so good, but he is tasked with this to end a coup that is getting ready to start based on a whole another war getting ready to happen. So he in the night, you see my man's eyes, his Sharingan emerge, and he is pretty swift about going through his village and cutting down his Uchiha family members, except for two family members. His dad, he didn't fight, but his dad and his mother, he stabbed in the back, basically. His younger brother watched that. Sasuke ended up watching that. The only other person that did not have a death by Itachi's hand was Shishui?
Yeah, Shisui.
Shisui, who was an elite Uchiha shinobi, and people will say he was, if he got to live longer, like him and Itachi would have been running things up on people for sure.
Mm-hmm. But it was messed up what happened to him, bro.
Yeah. So
I was watching that recently, like a couple of days ago. I was watching all this stuff on Itachi and Shisui.
Yeah,
and it was it's messed up, boy.
they he it sucks because we'll get to it later, and it's a person that I just cannot stand in the show. Period. Like there's I have nothing positive to say about that man whatsoever. But Itachi, and the death that caught me was Itachi and his brother. Him and Sasuke grew up, and they got to this is probably their third hand or their second hand-to-hand fight, and their last one. In the midst of this fight, you know, they're going blow for blow and everything like that. But Itachi's kind of like fading a little bit faster than he should be. So he has Sasuke backed up against the wall, everything like that. Sasuke is actually fearful of his brother because he can't do anything at this point. That he's, my life's about to be taken, and everything. But Itachi puts his hands up and he said something along the lines of like, "Give me your light," and he literally reaches for his eyeball. He reaches for Sasuke's eyeball like this, like he's getting ready to take it out, so he can actually add to awakening the rest of his Sharingan that he has. But at that point, he literally like thumps his forehead against the wall and puts his fingers up on Sasuke's forehead, which was a little like passing of the skill and the eyes and everything to Sasuke. So and that
it was
Sasuke
also something that he did to Sasuke when he was younger.
A child too, flicking his forehead.
As a child, he was always like do that shit on his forehead. So that was like the last thing. That's kind of how he showed Sasuke like,
another time,
like, bro, I wasn't doing this to like kill you.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like he did that. Itachi literally pushed Sasuke that far so he could seal Orochimaru out of him.
Mm-hmm.
That's why he pushed him that far. So after he did that, that's why he died smiling.
Yeah. He
like, once I get this evil up out of you, I'm fine with dying. Once I get this evil up out of my little brother, I'm fine with being out of here.
That was his one thing too, was always protecting Sasuke too. Even though he was at that point in life, he was an Akatsuki member. So usually doing damage is the Akatsuki's thing. At this point, like, he was a protector, he was like you're saying, trying to get rid of something from his brother that he only wants his brother to live in peace, basically. But that death caught me off guard so bad because I was not expecting it. And then later on, you get told that he had an illness that he was dying from, and not something physically that happened to him at all. So I was like, man, like that sucks even worse to know, like, you were dying internally and nobody else knew that for a while, except for a select few people that did not speak to anybody else at all.
And he was going blind because of overuse.
He was going blind because he was overusing his eye, which was another, he was an illusionist basically too. Like he was a master at illusions.
He was a master at genjutsu.
Deadly.
Itachi was a genjutsu, like that. We talked about this on the last episode. The Tsukuyomi that he put Kakashi in. I was trying to remember. It happens in like a split second, but I think you might be trapped in that world for like 72 hours, like just getting stabbed over and over and over.
Shoot.
But all that happens in like a split second. Like that's what the genjutsu is. And that shit put Kakashi into a coma.
Yeah.
And that shit happened in one instant, and that shit put him in a coma.
My man.
So that's the kind of genjutsu master that Itachi was.
Definitely. But Itachi's death is the first one that caught me, and I was just like, it got me good because I wasn't the same after a while when that happened. I was like, man. Later on in the show, I'm like, Itachi wouldn't have let that shit happen.
That was a big one.
Around. I'm like, man.
That whole fight, man, the fight leading up to that was just sick.
Oh yeah,
man.
and his whole Even Sasuke fighting B before that too was pretty damn good. That shit was wild. That fight was wild.
Wait, remember he was using Itachi was using genjutsu when Sasuke first came up on him because you remember he was sitting in that chair.
Yeah.
Sasuke came up and stabbed him. Yeah. So he was using genjutsu a few times on Sasuke too at the beginning of that fight too.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, he was a master of that.
Shit, dog. What like? Because I reminded you of Jiraiya's, so that's a definite. We can definitely talk on Jiraiya's. We can talk on Jiraiya's death. We can talk on Jiraiya's death. But is there another death that has caught you that threw you off, or it was just like, man, I don't want that. I can't believe this happened to him. If it's Jiraiya's, then that's fine. But
I'm trying to think because I'm trying to think like significant ones, man. That's what I'm thinking about. Because Jiraiya was significant.
Yeah.
Asuma was a big one, but it wasn't like
it wasn't that.
hurt me
It
in
was
my
only
heart.
huge. Yeah, that was huge for Shikamaru.
Itachi was a big one for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Especially like all he went through and shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would have to be Jiraiya, man.
I feel it.
Yeah, it would have to be him. Just because like I resonate with the character so much, and then like also felt like he didn't have to. I felt like he could have fucking retreated and went and got some
help
backup or something.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I felt like he took it's like a necessary, unnecessary risk.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Because he snuck into the hidden rain. So for the audience out there, this Naruto universe is derived of these different villages, these different ninja villages. So you have the hidden leaf village here. You have the hidden sand village there in the desert. You have the hidden mist village. They're out in the fucking water. You have the hidden cloud where B's from. Those are cloud ninja.
Stone.
Then from there, and the stone ninja. Then I lost my train of thought.
You good? He snuck into the
Okay,
hidden,
gotcha.
mist.
Oh yeah. So there's a bunch of that's what I was getting at. There's a bunch of smaller little villages around too, and the hidden range just happened to be one. Like there's the hidden grass village, and then Orochimaru created the hidden sound and all that. But Jiraiya sneaks into the hidden rain, and the hidden rain village sounds exactly like it is. It's always raining there.
Yep.
But it's always raining there for a purpose. Because in the hidden rain village, when you step in the hidden rain village, as soon as a raindrop hits you, the leader of the village can detect that you're there. So Jiraiya had to sneak into that place. The place is pretty much unsneakable. You know what I'm saying? So he sneaks into the hidden rain looking for Pain, which is the leader of the Akatsuki, which is a criminal organization, in short, of ninja. I felt like he could have got some more info and left, and didn't have to confront Pain directly by himself.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because you remember when he got there, he trapped a couple other ninja inside that toad's stomach and got information out of them. And after then, I was like, shit, just go back to the village with that info. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He went because they were also his students, which is huge. So he had the emotion behind it of, I gotta if the Akatsuki is led by my former students, like, I guess he felt like he had to redeem that in a sense. You know what I'm saying? So he goes to confront Pain, ends up running into Conan. Conan is another member of the Akatsuki. Her technique she uses is paper. She makes origami and paper bombs and all types of shit out of paper. Runs into her, ends up running into Pain, and then from there, the battle ensues, and Jiraiya has to do some summonings just to survive. Jiraiya goes into Sage mode. I'm going to do a separate video on Sage mode, too.
Yeah.
Jiraiya has to go into Sage mode just to survive. And at the end of the day, he ends up not only... My biggest problem with it was not only did he die, he got fucked up before he died.
Yeah.
And then the way he died was fucked up. He got his arm torn off.
Mm-hmm. He got ganged up on, first of all.
Yeah.
We're going to go back to that. He got ganged up on.
Yeah,
This wasn't no fair one-on-ones at all. Like, they wasn't running ones at all. They was like, yo.
This is a 6v1.
Yeah.
This is a 6v1, and he killed 3 of them.
Yeah, he went out fighting for sure.
But they got resurrected back, but he killed 3 of them. So he held down 6 motherfuckers, killed 3 of them before he died.
Mm-hmm.
So they rip off his arm. From there, before they kill him, they fucking crush his throat.
Yeah.
He gets his fucking throat crushed. With his throat crushed, he uses one of the frogs that he summoned to write a last message that he can send back to the village. From there, he's laying here, throat crushed, laying on a fucking rock in the water pretty much. They deliver the killing blow, fucking blast the missile at him. No, they put the rods in his back first.
Yeah, they put the rods
They all came down and fucking stuck the rods in his back. So imagine this nigga, he pretty much looked like Sonic the Hedgehog out there.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So they stuck the rods in him, and then they fucking, one of them shot a missile at him pretty much, and he just exploded it, and then Jiraiya slowly sinks as he's thinking about his life, you know, what he did, what he never got to do. Maybe some regrets. He's thinking about all this as he slowly sinks down to this darkness, this wet darkness.
Yeah.
You know, with his throat crushed, with his arm gone, with his thoughts of, damn, I'm about to die. This is it. You know what I'm saying? He's thinking about Naruto, you know, and what he instilled in him. And then he has to go out like that, and without his body even being found. You know what I'm saying? Like he wasn't even recovered. You know what I'm saying? So for him to be such a prominent figure, especially for the for our protagonist, which is Naruto. He was also, I'll add that he was also Naruto's father's sensei as well, and end up being Naruto sensei. But to have such a huge impact on the show and such a huge impact on the main character of the show, and then I didn't feel like he had an honorable death in the sense of he went out like a warrior for sure. But I just, it was just so sad how he went out. It's just like he should have. I just felt like he should have died better than that, man. He just got ganged up on, and there's really nothing he could do. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. That's why I was like, man, I could see, like, y'all didn't have to gang up on my man. Like, if y'all want to win, all right, one-on-ones, all right, we're, you know, this one get his ass beat, all right, next one, come on, you know, that give everybody some time to kind of prep and stuff. But I was like, man, like, y'all didn't have to do my dog like that. And then I don't want to jump ahead to shit at all, because they kind of replicated.
Say what you feel, man.
They kind of replicated that same shit. Well, let me not say they. Pain reenacted the same stabbings to Naruto as he did to Jiraiya.
Yeah, he did.
Like, pin my man down.
That's when Naruto flipped out.
Yeah, my man flipped out as soon as he seen his chick get smacked. Yo, he ain't say no words at all. Just, time to change. Man, I never
forgetting that part. Like right before he transformed, you heard like the heartbeat, like doop doop.
Yeah.
You saw the red eyes, and Yeah, man, that was a hell of a part right there. But yeah, and that was an insult right there. It's like, damn, you gonna do me just like you gonna do me the way you killed my sensei too? Like that's dirty.
It was bad,
Dirty.
man. That shit pissed me off. But they say in the message that he wrote out was who exactly Pain was. Like telling the village, oh, this is who he is. So now you guys have some kind of evidence or knowledge of who he actually is when he was a human sense, kind of. Because when he got I was about to say the Rasengan, the Renegons, he was completely like soulless, just about, like, didn't care for much at all, except for Conan and Nagato, and that was it.
For you guys that don't know, the Renegon is another ocular jutsu. Now, jutsu is a term that ninjas use for their technique. So, okay. So you have the Byakugan, which we stated earlier. Then you have the Sharingan, which we stated with Itachi and Sasuke. They have the Sharingan. And then you have the Renegon, which is another ocular jutsu that he's speaking on.
Man. But I did find it pretty damn cool, though, of everybody that had it was all linked by those eyes. So it didn't matter where anybody was. I could be here and you had it and we were linked. I could see everything out in front of you. I thought that was the dopest shit. I was like, yeah, that's pretty fucking nice right there. Like,
yeah, man. That's how they got Kakashi.
Yeah, that's how they got. Yeah, that's how they got Kakashi.
Kakashi got.
Man,
he just got lucky to get resurrected, but Kakashi got murked. Yeah, Pain was causing a whole lot of fucking pain for real.
I was getting ready to say that was my favorite arc. One of my favorite arcs right there is when
you just read my mind. I was just about to go into that favorite arc. I got it written down in my notes. I was like, I'm touching on this next.
Yes, favorite
favorite arc. And you know what? Once we started talking about Akatsuki, I figured we would run into favorite arcs because that is my favorite. That's my favorite arc, is the Akatsuki arc.
Yeah, the formation of that was pretty dope. But I say by far my favorite arc was when is the Pain and Naruto fight, when Pain comes in and Almighty pushes literally everything, the Konoha in general, just wipe that shit off the map basically.
Well, I consider that the Akatsuki arc, that whole thing.
Okay. Yeah.
From going to go get Gaara in the beginning.
Oh yeah. Yeah. When they started doing ambushes and raids.
Yeah, until they defeated Pain, like that's the Akatsuki arc for me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. But that,
like when they're introduced. As soon as they're introduced, that's when their arc starts, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that whole arc was like my favorite.
Everybody in the Akatsuki had a certain ring too that kind of gave them that point. They didn't all have to be. They were all in different parts of the world, and when they had their rings on, they got like holograms of them in this one meeting area together.
And that ring showed their affiliation with the Akatsuki.
Yeah, yeah. And I thought at one point, it was also by ranking of like, okay, you know, who's technically like 1, 2, and 3 in here and everything like that. Because everybody had like a different symbol in it.
Yeah, because I read it a couple years back. I was looking over that at the meanings of the different rings, and I can't remember if it was a ranking thing or what.
Well, listen, people, if y'all find out, you let us know. How about that?
Shit, I'm gonna look this shit up after we get done.
Listen. But they,
dude, I used to watch. I used to read, because you know, like Wikipedia, but they have like a Narutopedia.
Yeah.
I used to just read that like when it first came out, and I was like super into it, and it was fresh. I used to just read about the characters, read about the different Kekkei Genkai, the different summoning animals and shit. Like I was like deep into that stuff, man. It has a lot of history, man. A lot of lore. Like when you look at, especially since like, you know, the manga always has more than the anime does.
Yep.
Now, for you guys that don't know what a manga is, a manga is made before the anime is made. So imagine a comic book, and it's actually read right to left.
Yeah.
If you didn't know, if you guys out there don't know, if you pick up a manga book and you try to read it like we do in America, you're gonna be reading the last page. But manga, if a manga is good enough, it eventually gets turned into an anime. So Naruto started off as a manga before it became an anime. You know,
and I will say shout out to Shonen Jump, because a lot of motherfuckers didn't know about any kind of anime until Shonen Jump showed up in like Scholastic fairs and little bookstores and stuff like that. And that's when Yu-Gi-Oh was jumping off. They'd have Yu-Gi-Oh in there. There would be bits and pieces of One Piece. Bleach was in there. Naruto was in there. And it was like this thick ass, it looks like a magazine, but it was literally just the storylines of each show. Each chapter was a new episode, basically, or in a continuation. So shout out to Shonen for that, because that, when I was a kid, like when you got a Shonen comic book, you had like Yu-Gi-Oh cards in the back of them, and they were collectibles. So you'd get like a card or something like that. And you're like, oh snap! At the time, it was all just to have the Yu-Gi-Oh cards. But like I was saying,
I remember you had a shit ton of Yu-Gi-Oh cards.
I used to have a fuck ton of things.
Hey, you should have kept them motherfuckers. All them motherfuckers is profitable now. Everybody wants them cards.
Worth millions now.
There's a lot of shit back then. I wish I would have kept.
Yeah, even Pokemon cards still are them tradable as hell.
Yeah, those was like, those resurfaced and now everybody's into it.
But but shout out to Shonen for that, because man, like,
shout out to Shonen, shout out to Shonen Jump.
Yes, because
bringing us these great mediums we call anime.
That people would not know about Naruto whatsoever if it wasn't for Shonen either. And then Toonami took over. But that Akatsuki, like you said, that Akatsuki art, man, was something else.
I think that's when it started getting serious. That's for me. That's when I feel like it really started getting serious.
Yeah.
Especially like until the Akatsuki, nobody was really dying, where they weren't really showing it. Especially not like prominent people in the show. Once Akatsuki came, it just showed you the difference in like their level of threat, you know, their level of ability. It's like, okay, you can send Kakashi after him, he a badass, but it ain't gonna be no cakewalk for even somebody of Kakashi's level or Guy's level or anything. Like, it's not gonna be a cakewalk for anybody, because all the members of the Akatsuki, they were S-class criminals, which is like the highest, most dangerous class, you know, it goes from fucking D to S, you know what I'm saying? So all these guys within their own right, like, are Kage level, you know what I'm saying? Most people pretty much gauge it by the Kage, so. How many of them were, like 9 of them? Imagine like 9 Kage together.
There was those, and then they were adding in people too, because when Sasuke,
people were dying.
But I mean, like, even Sasuke, because let me back up. Kisame had died. That was Itachi's like partner that he walked with. When Kisame died, Sasuke ended up coming in. Itachi was gone out too at this point. But then Sasuke brought in Karin, Jogo, and one other dude that became he became one of the swordsmen.
Sugetsu?
Yes. No. Is it Sugetsu? No.
It was Sugetsu because he turned into water.
Yeah, that's it. and they them like them motherfuckers was that little squad by themselves was just bad to the bone already, because Karn was an Uzumaki who could heal, and then Jogo, I think he had a curse mark also on him. So my man was just like hella strong and hella
his
fast.
curse mark made him like he couldn't control himself. He just became like a killing machine once he transformed. So he didn't really like to use it.
But he was Sasuke's protector at that. But when they went to go fight Killer B, that was a fight that was hella dope, because my man went with 7 or 8. He had 7 or 8 swords, all in elbows, mouth, or behind the knees, under the arms, everything. My man had like a sword in every part of him, and
it will forever be one of the best sword fights in anime history.
Yes, because him and Sasuke went at it. So that was a pretty good fight within the arc. And then that final, that fight with Naruto, him and Pain and Naruto, and he getting pinned down, and Hinata coming in to try to save him. Was just
totally outclassed, and she still came in to try to save him.
Yeah. But let me back up here, because Naruto had the best intro into that arc too, because everybody's getting their ass whooped, and Sakura's standing over. I can't remember who Sakura's standing over as she's trying to heal them, and she just yells out for Naruto, and my man pops up like that, holding the freaking B scroll and both toads on the side of him, and was just chilling on top of the mountain.
Looking like his pops and shit.
Looking like his pop, because he had the whole wardrobe change out and everything. And then that whole fight, Naruto was kind of getting like slapped around, and then got pinned down and everything, and Hinata coming in. But as soon as a hand got laid to her face is when he just went berserk, and I was like, yo, this is about to be a great ass fight, because either the full Fox is coming out now, or my man is gonna go on a rampage and just shred Pain to death right now. And
the full Fox did end up coming out.
Yeah, he had he had the skeleton and everything. He had the I was about to call it blood, but the aura, literally, that chakra flow, literally, you could see it ooze out of him, literally.
But no, remember, he turned into him when he caught him in that fucking Shinra Tensei.
Oh yeah, until that shit, boy. And then I think my favorite part in that whole shit was when he picked the freaking stone. He picked that freaking mountain up and literally beat Pain on the head with it, and put him
like
in
a
the
nail,
ground, like a whole nail. My man was just like, was looking stupid. I was like, this is gonna be good right here. But he gave he pushed Pain to the freaking limit for real. And I was like, man,
who you think was the most slept on Akatsuki member?
Most slept on Akatsuki. Conan. She was all paper. Her whole body and everything was all paper. And like everybody's like, oh, she's just a female. She has no powers. She can't hand to hand fight at all. No nothing. But she was fucking motherfuckers up, just origami style. Mm-hmm. And she'd be in your face and then just feather out away and then come back, and everything comes right back together. And they fought in the rain, and you think, paper getting wet, it's gonna disintegrate, it's gonna get heavy, it's gonna disintegrate and stuff. And she was fine throughout that whole thing. So I think she was one of the slept on Akatsuki members for sure. I don't really want to include Sasuke, because Sasuke's stint in the Akatsuki felt like all of 2 or 3 episodes, and that was only when he was fighting.
It was very short for sure.
Yeah, because he had a change of heart after a while. Like, that man changed hearts change sides, change teams like nobody's business.
They just allowed him to.
Yeah, yeah. My plan.
Like, I'm still wondering how the hell he can come back to the village after all that shit.
Hey, shit.
Then come back and have kids and all types of shit. Like,
yeah, man.
He just got a free pass.
That's what happens
You know
when you go ahead. I was gonna say that's what happens when your best friend is the Hokage, and you've never looked at him as a friend at all until he finally like made you realize like, yo, you were fighting for the wrong shit, man, and this is where it is, and you've been fighting against it this whole time, and you know it, you know. But who are you about to say?
I was gonna say, and I could not stand him until I started understanding him better, and his skill set. It was Datara.
Okay. Okay, I can see that.
Fucking Datara, man. He was a bad motherfucker, bro.
Yeah.
Like, when I first saw him, I was like, his power's stupid, and the things he makes look stupid, all the animals and stuff. Those of you who don't know, Datara, he actually had fucking mouths in his hands. Now, with these mouths inside of his hands, he had pretty much like C4, plastic explosive, clay, that he carried around with him. And he would use these hands to like eat the clay and mold the clay into different animals and shapes. And, you know, he could make it into a dragon or a scorpion or whatever the fuck, depending on how the amount of clay he had. Of course, he had to infuse his chakra into it because remember, all these techniques are chakra based. So he's infusing his chakra within this, like actually making this possible. But Datara was known as a terrorist bomber. That's what he was known for in the ninja world. He would take contracts, and that's what he was. He was a fucking terrorist bomber. He used his explosive clay to blow shit up. That's what he was all about. He thought that blowing shit up was like a work of art. Like when he saw explosions, he thought it was him creating art in the world. That's how his mindset was. But after analyzing him a little more, and then his power, and then the way he was using it, because it's like at the beginning of the Akatsuki arc, Datara and Sasori are partnered. Now, all the Akatsuki are partnered. They go in groups. They travel the world in groups. They travel the world in groups, seeking out what they call Jinchuriki, which are in English is tail beast. So these Jinchuriki are the people that have these different beasts sealed inside of their bodies. So the Akatsuki is in the world in pairs searching for these tail beasts for their own, you know, I won't share it, but they're doing some messed up shit. I mean, they have, in a way, they're trying to create peace.
Yeah.
Which is why I don't look at them as like cut and dry villains. But they're kind of going about it a fucked up way. They don't really care who they sacrifice to reach their ultimate goal.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So they travel all these places looking for these guys to get this goal, you know, completed by collecting these Jinchuriki or these hosts. These people are hosts for these beasts. These beasts have phenomenal power, and the different villages, they all have someone that has a beast sealed inside of them, pretty much like a weapon of mass destruction. Just so the balance of power within all the Shinobi villages is balanced. You know what I'm saying? So the Akatsuki's going out and seeking out all these guys to take the beast out of them, so they can, you know, do their world domination thing. I was wanting to let people know a little bit about that.
You good.
About the group that we're talking about. You know what I'm saying? But going back to Datara, him and Sasori, when I saw him go and take Gaara down, and this is like post time skip.
Yeah.
For all you guys out there, Naruto does a time skip. The beginning of the series is when they were younger, early days, and then it does a time skip to when they're older into what they call Naruto Shippuden. So you have Naruto, which is the beginning, and then you have Naruto Shippuden, which is the time skip. And that's where you find that's where we find ourselves in the Akatsuki arc, is in Shippuden. Okay.
You also got in that time skip, there are movies that kind of fill in, like little fillers that fill in. So I say, if you do watch them in order. The movie, there are some of those movies out on Netflix too, I will say, because I did see that before we jumped on too.
Yeah, they have a lot on there. I've been running through them.
they will definitely fill you in before Shippuden, and then once after it too. There we go. But like you were saying,
back to Data. When I saw him take down Gaara, now Gaara, he's a Kage. Now we talked about the whole Kage. Every village has a Kage. So the Sand Village has a Kage, Leaf Village has a Kage, Mist Village has a Kage. So every village has a leader. So Data, he took out their leader, and it wasn't like some hand to hand, straight up, this and that. He took Gaara out with his mind, bro. Like, the way he was using his explosive clay, because he would turn his explosive clay, he could turn it into fucking termites, like, and they could surround you and then just explode on you and stuff like that. For some reason, he liked to use animals as his thing. But yeah, he just outclassed Gaara. Gaara was way more powerful than him, like on paper, but he totally outclassed him and ended up, at the end of the day, capturing him. And then he had that fight with Sasuke, which Sasuke got pushed to the limit in that one. And then he started to have these, he had this one technique where it like, he made his explosive clay in like microscopic. So you like breathe it in and it goes inside your body and into your bloodstream and shit. I remember that. And then it explodes. Like, he was a genius, bro. He was a fucking genius.
You want another tactician right there.
Yeah, because he was since he wasn't a close range fighter, he was more of a long range guy. He was, he was more, tactful in his approach, But yeah, Data, he was the most slept on, like, for me. He's a character that I thought was kind of stupid because I was looking at his abilities and shit like that at first, but then I gained a lot of respect for after I really, like, sat down and analyzed not only his techniques and his abilities, but, like, his character and who he was and shit like that. Yeah. And I ended up really liking him as a character.
Yeah. There's another Akatsuki member that was technically like the immortal one. That I was like, there's got to be somebody that's going to just like bust his bubble, put him in his place and everything. And it was somebody I just did not expect to do it at all. Like, I did not expect Shikamaru to outmaneuver and outmind him like that at all. But then again, when you're immortal, you don't give two shits at all about what anybody can and will do to you, because you're gonna come right back. But
got comfortable.
He got comfortable, and it was more of a revenge fight for Gaara or for Shikamaru too, because this dude happened to kill Asuma also, so he got his retribution back, and then told the man, like, there is no God, I am your God now. And he kills this man and buries him underneath these rocks and stuff. And I was like, all right, noted, because my man is a a team fighting like a grown man that has lived forever. And
man,
I was
he's
like,
fucking killed countless people, bro. Like, so
yeah,
he's battle hardened.
yeah. And I was like, yo, my man Shikamaru just took this man out like that. I was like, yeah, I can't sleep on him.
That's why he didn't approach him directly. That's why he used those tactics to take him down. He wasn't going to be able to. If his sensei died with the direct approach, like he knew he couldn't do that same thing. You know what I'm saying? So he had to be smart about it because his name was Hidan. He had this side.
That's it. Yeah.
He had this side that if a drop of your blood get on that side, then he can do a ritual where pretty much link his body to yours and he can kill you. So he does his ritual. Like, say if he got a drop of your blood on his scythe and he fucking licks it and does his fucking
yeah. Uh-oh. It's all good, y'all. He'll be right. He gonna be right back, I promise you. The hell? This has been good. I know it. This has been hella good.
All right, we back.
We back.
Okay.
There we go.
But yeah, then he stabs himself in the heart to complete his ritual. Yeah. You know?
Yeah.
So he's
cold-blooded.
done that to countless people.
Yeah.
And Shikamaru figured out a way to take him out of there, man.
Mm-hmm. What most slept on. We got the arc. Trying to think. You have a favorite Hokage? You have a favorite Kage?
Damn.
Let me see, because I'm gonna have to pull these up myself just to be like, all right, let me know.
I like Hashirama.
Mm-hmm.
Because he was trying to stop all the bullshit fighting. You know what I'm saying? He was like the first person. He was the first leader. Like when he became the leader of the clan. Hashirama is the first Hokage of the Leaf Village. He's one of the co-founders of the Leaf Village with Madara Uchiha. But I just like his character, man. He was open because they were at war with the Uchiha for so long that they had this like, if you're born into the Senju clan, which Hashirama was a part of, it's like you're automatically pushed into hating Uchihas. You know what I'm saying? Because the Uchiha and the Senju clan, they were pretty much used for mercenary work. But since those are the two main clans used for mercenary work, they often clashed with one another, like on opposing sides. So it wasn't like they had this like family beef. It's like they always ran into each other because the Senju would be working for one side, the Uchiha would be working for the other side, and they'd end up fucking clashing that way. You know what I'm saying? But Hashirama, he was one of the first ones to be tired of the fighting, like to really put the idea of unity out there and like forgiving each other and things of that nature. That's why I respected Hashirama. And also because he had the wood style. Like the wood style is my favorite. If I was to have any type of Kekkei Genkai, any bloodline ability, any type of jutsu to use, it would be wood for me. It would be, it would be the wood style for me.
Earth style,
or the
Mokoton
in Japanese.
Yeah,
So I fucks with Hashirama. I highly fucks with the wood. I love that shit for some reason. I love those techniques.
My man, and with the Senju clan, like I don't think it was everybody that could do it. But Hashirama has that regenerative cell also that everybody was after, which makes him a constant piece throughout the whole show because everybody kind of mentions it. You hear his name get tossed around a lot throughout the show and everything.
And people want that ability. They want his abilities very badly, to the point to where they've like stolen this guy's cells.
Mm-hmm.
Like people have his cells. You know what I'm saying? Like his DNA.
Yeah.
People have taken just to get these regenerative abilities and the wood style. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. His brother was a hothead. His brother had a dope swag set though. I did like Tobirama. I liked his swag set. He was.
You know what's funny? You say that. I was looking at a video because I'll be watching these videos. Damn, I can't think of the guy right off the top of my head, but I've been watching a lot of his videos, and he goes like deep into the history of these characters, and really gives you like a real, much deeper perspective on it. And he was talking about Tobirama and how most fans don't like Tobirama, but then he started to like go down. He started to go down the list of everything that Tobirama did for the Leaf Village, and it was like, yeah, it made you think of him in like a whole different way. Yeah. So Tobirama as well, like both of the Senju brothers. I respect them because they were born into war.
Yeah.
It's like they didn't have a choice. Like they were fucking kids out fighting. You know what I'm saying? They were born into war, and what they saw from that made them want to like create the opposite.
Peace.
You know what I'm saying?
They wanted all that peace. They I'd say for me, the Hokage, my favorite Hokage, and it is really later down the road, but within this Naruto storyline, Tsunade is one of my top two. She's up there.
She did a good job. She did a good job.
Minato is my favorite Hokage, and I say Minato being the fastest man basically alive in the show, but being trained by Jiraiya, but also was a leader that was not afraid to get his hands dirty at all. Like he would hold his squad back and be like, I got this, I'll handle this myself.
Well, if you remember when they were at war, the other villages had an order that if you saw him out on the battlefield, then retreat.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like don't even think of fighting this motherfucker.
Mm-hmm.
So every village had that order.
That's an instant.
So so you a bad motherfucker if they like if you see this dude out on the battlefield, do not engage him. Like go the other way.
He even when he was young and he was being trained at this time still, when Naruto's mom got kidnapped basically, and she left little strands of her hair for him to follow basically. My man came up on 3 grown ass men as a child and put in work and then held her on his way back home and was like, I got you, so my man had the swag too. He had the whole that juice and everything. So
now, can you explain what technique he was so famous for? What was? Tell the people what his nickname was.
Oh, the Flash.
Yeah, Yellow Flash.
The Yellow Flash. He had yellow hair. It was I feel like a Super Saiyan before Super Saiyans were really Super Saiyans. But my man, there's a part in the Great War, in the Fourth Great Shinobi War, and him and I can't remember if he was fighting Madara or if he was fighting somebody else. He was fighting Obito at this time. And it's before Kakashi did this. He throws a kunai out, and Obito's able to like atomized basically and let it pass straight through him. So Minato's smart enough. He timed this shit so perfectly. And as he's coming up to him with the Rasengan, he literally like flashes out in front of him and is on top of is actually behind Obito at this point and just drops him with this Rasengan. And I was like, yo, my man, like my man is just out here. But
bro, that scene, that was one of my favorite fucking scenes. That shit was in slow motion, like,
yes,
dude, and like you see them about to clash. He's running slow, and then as they get closer, you see Minato's hand, and then you hear that sound we all know of that Rasengan forming. He forms that motherfucker. They get about this fucking close. So this is Minato, this is Obito. They get about this close.
Gone.
Right before he grabs them.
Yep.
Appears here. Rasengan. Boom. hits that motherfucker right in the back with it. Dude, that was one of the dopest scenes.
Yes, sir.
I've rewound that scene so many times, bro. So many fucking times.
On it. That's one of my favorite. That's one of my other favorite fights too, right there. But that Minato is definitely my one favorite Hokage out there.
And I wouldn't have guessed that either.
Really?
I wouldn't have guessed that. I wouldn't have guessed Minato.
Who'd you think?
I can't really tell you who I thought.
Because
I just didn't think Minato.
No, because I couldn't give it to Naruto yet. Because at this point, granted, at this fourth Shinobi War, like he doesn't become it until after this thing, and even after it, there's not enough credit to see exactly what all he's done yet until the spinoff basically that they have. So within the Naruto timeline, basically is Minato and then Tsunade. And Tsunade, who is she's the niece of Hashirama. So she's got that. Oh, the granddaughter. That's right. I don't know why I was thinking niece, but she's come from that clan too. So that bloodline, that power is fluid throughout that whole leadership role.
And Tsunade is she's a medical ninja.
Yeah.
A little history. Back in the day, so many Genin. Now, when you start out in a ninja academy, you have to pass the academy, and then you go different ranks. So the first rank you get when you pass the academy is called a Genin. The second rank, after you pass the Chunin exam, you become a Chunin.
Mm-hmm.
Then you become a Jonin, which is pretty much the highest level. And then you have like special Jonin that do other shit. And then Anbu Black Ops and all that other shit. But those are like your main ones. Genin, Chunin, and Jonin.
She's the second Sannin ninja also.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So from there, there used to not be any medical ninja.
No.
On the 3-man squad, because they operate in a 3-man squad and a sensei. During the time, I can't remember what war that was, because they've had like what 3-4 Shinobi World Wars.
3 before this last one.
Okay, whatever the other war was, there were so many Genin dying, because you gotta think these are fucking 11, 12-year-old kids.
Yeah.
Out on missions and shit. So many of them were dying that Tsunade was the one that actually recommended that they implement having a medical ninja on each squad.
Mm-hmm.
So Tsunade was a very highly skilled medical ninja, which, as a Kage, to protect your people, that's pretty fucking important.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Definitely.
So I definitely appreciate her as a Kage for sure.
And her summoning animal, the snail, literally can break down and pass off healing chakra, which was dope too. So, because not you don't have a lot of people that can perform summonings at this point, you know.
Bro, that's like a life hack right there, bro.
Yeah, I kid you not.
I'd make a fucking contract with that slug. Like,
Wig.
You can just come out and heal me anytime. Shit.
Yeah.
That's a good one to have in the bag.
For sure. That's who. If you could have been in Konoha and been able to vote on a Hokage out of the other senseis, who do you think you would put in that rank?
Somebody that never became a Kage, right?
Never became a Hokage.
Oh shit! Another sensei?
Mm-hmm. Well, they don't. They don't have to be a sensei at all. They could anybody, you know.
Just who I think would be worthy of being Hokage?
Yeah.
Damn, that's a good question, man. That's a tough one to answer too. My mind's racing through candidates right now. Because in the Leaf Village specifically, you don't really get exposed to a lot of people.
Nah.
I mean, you have like your core characters that they show, and then, maybe a few people here and there, like, civilians and stuff like that. There's nobody I can really think of, man. I know Jiraiya before he died for sure.
Yeah.
Trying to think of anybody. I think Orochimaru could have been, if he wouldn't have been so fucking evil, that he could have been a good Hokage too.
Mm-hmm.
But his ambitions just got the best of him.
I think the same thing.
We could do a whole topic on Orochimaru.
Yeah. I say the same thing. I say Orochimaru for sure. And then his whole battle he had with the third Hokage, the first ambush into the Leaf Village, basically.
Earlier I said I felt like it got serious when the Akatsuki. That's when I felt it got serious. Was that now that I think back,
third Hokage,
when the Leaf Village was first attacked.
Yeah.
That's when Naruto really started like
picking up.
Yeah, really like turned the switch for me once that happened.
They were still in the freaking tuning exams when it happened. And I was like,
in the middle of it.
Yeah, like these men they out here trying to graduate and stuff, and he just messed up that whole thing.
It's kind of cool. I like how they the Leaf Village is pretty much the home, or Konoha is pretty much the home of the show. But I like how they don't make them all like high and mighty, like they're doing all the right things and all the other villages are evil and this and that. And I like how they go to these other villages and let you know what these other leaders are dealing with and things of that nature, That's also what I appreciate about the show, is it takes you to different villages and you get to see everybody's struggles, and you get to see miscommunications that fucking grow into this and that. And then you got, within the Shinobi world, there's a lot of deception and, stealing information and shit like that. So it's like, if you're a leader of one of these villages, you kind of on edge.
Yeah, all the time. All the time.
So I like how it gives you like that perspective of, all the villages, and it's not just like Naruto's village is perfect. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
They got their history of doing some fucked up shit, man. So I like when things are written that way, because, it's never really like they're just this way or they're just that way. But it's like, it's multifaceted in the way that, okay, these things happen, but there's also people in the village that are like, hey, we need to be doing things to redeem what they did back in the
Mhm.
day. We need to do things to fix relationships now and stuff like
Yeah.
that, you know?
Yeah. So it's
I
a
appreciate that kind of stuff.
constant revolving door with villages too. Like it's you know, once everybody starts, some people are like, we would never do business with y'all, you know, because of this and this, or we'll never do business with them, with this other village, because of, you know, we've had a long tradition of going to war with each other, you know, because even in that whole Shinobi world, these smaller villages would still fight amongst themselves, even though they had bigger enemies coming for them. They would still fight amongst themselves. They would still fight against each other, and they could literally be the next door neighbor as a village, and they would be fighting. And I'm just, you're like, you're fighting for what reason? Like, you know, you come together, and it always seemed that way of Konoha being the kind of being the savior in these other village fights of, you know, hey, this is coming for all of us. We need to be united, you know.
Well, the thing about Konoha is it's the most powerful.
Yeah.
You know, within all the villages. So, you know, there's a lot of history behind how they obtain that power. You know
Definitely.
what I'm saying? And there's a lot of, like, you know, within the Shinobi world, there's a lot of like seeking revenge and you know, sometimes, and it also shows that sometimes they're actually forced to work together.
Yeah.
For some, you know, if you want to call it a greater good, or for something that's going to benefit them both. And I think that comes with I think that came later. I think earlier in, like, the earlier generations of Naruto are more about, like, button
fighting
heads.
it out.
Yeah, and it's almost like by the time Tsunade got the throne, it was like, damn, I got a whole bunch of shit to fix. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
From, you know, past decisions of past Kages, you know, because these Kages, when they die, what they achieved stays. That's left behind. You know what I'm saying? That shit doesn't die with them. So all the decisions they made, everything comes back. So the next leader that gets put in that position has those issues placed on them, you know? So the Hokage is not an easy position at all.
Not at all. You gotta make some life and death situation choices. You gotta make betterment for the village on top of a united village too, with the rest of the villages coming around. You know, transportations, everything like that. Even delivering out missions and stuff too. Like you gotta put in the right team to go do a certain mission. So and demon certain missions, certain classes, and everything like that. So even within the missions, you had S missions, you had D missions. So you had your small ones, you know, up to your really big risky missions.
Yeah, because remember that these missions are how the villages support themselves.
Yeah.
So, like, everything from being an escort or a bodyguard to going and catching somebody's cat, that's bringing in money.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So they have to continue to, well, the Hokage has to, like you were saying, has to be like, all right, I'm going to have my Genin do these D missions, this, and that. There's a lot that comes with that position. I'm going to ask you the question, but I'm going to answer it myself. I wouldn't want to be the Hokage. So that's going to be my question to you. That's going to be my question to you. Would you take that position in that world?
Hell no. Hell no. That, you got, like, I'm responsible, but not that responsible. Like, you telling me I'm in charge of these million of people lives right here, man, and my decisions on war and education and everyday living, like they're going off of that, and on top of I'm not spending enough time, I'm not at home with my family, if whatnot. Like I just couldn't. I could not commit to that whatsoever. Like that would be that would have to be. You couldn't pay me to do that job. You could not pay me to do that job.
So with everything you just said, do you think that the Hokages get criticized too harshly by the communities? By the Naruto community?
Now you say that, I don't think I've ever heard even glimpses of like civilians in the show saying anything out of pocket. Now that you say that, but if I were to be in that if I were to live in that world, I would guarantee.
Well, I was talking about like people like us that look at the show.
Oh yeah,
like they really like the people that I've seen. Like they criticize the Hokages like very harshly, and they don't consider everything that you just stated. You know what I'm saying, about like what they have to do on top of many other things that that we didn't even state. But I feel like, because I watch a lot of Naruto videos and stuff, and I read comments and all that stuff, and it just seems like the Kages being a Kage comes with a lot of judgment and criticism.
Yeah.
For your decisions, and it's kind of fucked up because nobody else is willing to be in that position to make those decisions, but they will be the ones that criticize your decisions when you make them. If they don't go away that they agree with, you know what I'm saying? So
and
that would just be a tough position.
Yeah, the only person that I know of so far, like, well, the two, Sasuke and Orochimaru, have spoken out against like the Hokages of, they would do certain things a different way and everything like that. But I'm just like, you, on the outside looking at it, I'm like, I don't think you could do that, buddy, because you can't even, handle this little bit that's going on right now in your life. Like, what makes you think you're going to be able to be in that position and still manage this list full of stuff and what you're still trying to be after, So it's anybody, I think, honestly, anybody that speaks out against them or, that heavily criticizes them, I'm like, you got to do some real deep homework to kind of understand why everybody put them in that position, and then, why they managed to stay in that position for so long. Because there's even like the third Hokage, granted, he gotten succeeded by Minato, and was still around, and everybody was still like, hey, Lord Hokage, how do we need to go about this? And he's like, even though I'm not the Hokage anymore, you got another one, you got an actual Hokage still. He was still advising on things to do. So that's what I say. Like, them people that criticize him, like, go ahead and you can't do a pros and cons to the job at all. Like, you just gonna have to really deeply think on, is this something you were able to perform? Is this a job, a task that you were able to perform at 100% day in and day out? So
because people are fickle with the Hokage. Like, when the Hokage saves the day, he's a god. But when something fucked up happens, it's like, what are you doing? Yeah,
you should have
go the other way.
Yeah.
So it's like I don't think you can win in that position. So it definitely takes a special person to want to take that on.
Yeah. Now you say somebody that's wanting to take it on. This leads me into one of the questions that you have is least favorite character in the whole show. And this guy I absolutely hate because of the way he went about things, and Danzo he was a guy that aimed to be Hokage and got put out.
He wanted that shit so bad.
He wanted that shit so bad and got put down by Sasuke. But what pissed me off about Danzo was when it got revealed that he had fucking Sharingan like all up and down his arm. I was like, this man has been out here taking eyes, literally, and was doing it prior to Itachi massacring his village, his family, basically.
Hanzo was doing so much shit, bro.
He was doing on top of being, he was basically like the leader of defense, like the general of defense, basically. Like he was in charge of the Anbu and everything also. So he
had his own division of the Anbu.
He had his own division, yes. So
which was called the Root.
And then that motherfucker just, anything and everything he did was so snaky. And I think what got me was his eyes never opened. And that's what got me. I was like, nope. Evil motherfucker.
No, you can't trust a nigga that don't open his eyes.
You can't at all. You can't at all. I was like, my man he never opens his eyes at all. And he walked like this all the time. So I was like, he had to be up to something at all times because he walked like this because his arm was always in his cloak, basically. Mm-hmm. I'm like, yeah, nah, my man is definitely up to something. And then when it finally came out, I was like, oh, this motherfucker need to die now. Like I could not. He was out here taking people's eyes
2 times.
Man, I was like, this man's got to be done in. And then when Sasuke did it, that was the one time I think I cheered for Sasuke. And I was like, I still don't like you right now, but I'm glad you took this man out for us. For real.
That was a good fight too.
Yeah, I would have hated to see later in the show what Danzo was capable of, like which side he would have went to, which side he would have been on. Would he have been on, in the Great Fourth Shinobi War? Would he been on Madara's side on this one, or would he been with, the United Nations basically on this one? Mm-hmm. Where was he going to be at? Because at that point, like he would have had some leeway with a lot of people, especially with his core group. He already knew Konoha pretty well and everything. So, like, what was my man what was he going to be up to had he been able to stay later into the show? But I'm just glad he got cut off early because my man just.
Oh, he would have caused more carnage.
Yeah, my man was just.
He
wasn't making the cut with me, man. He was not.
He got like a 2-hour stint as Hokage.
Oh yeah. No.
Remember?
Yeah.
He wasn't meant for it. See, the people that want shit so bad are not fit. If a motherfucker wants something so bad, they're not fucking fit for it, man. It's usually the person that doesn't want it that's most fit for the shit.
Mm-hmm.
Because motherfuckers just want shit too bad. And Danzo, he wanted that position too bad. He was a hater. And motherfucker was a hater. He was a hater all his days. Because he was hating on the third, even because they were in the same squad together. He was hating on him back then. Like, he just been a hater his whole fucking life.
Maybe that's why his eyes got stuck.
He just grew into a bitter old man.
Yeah, maybe that's why his eyes got stuck, closed all the time.
Probably.
He's out here giving side eyes all the time. It was just
all day. It's like, you know what? I'm just gonna stick my shit right here. Like,
yep.
Fucking
man.
Danzo.
What about least favorite character there?
Least favorite? What character got on my nerves? I'm trying to think. I'm trying to think of. I know the world wants me to say Sakura. Just because she's so hated in the community.
Inu was wild too because she was.
Inu was worse. She's garbage.
Yeah, she was trifling.
I don't know about least favorite, but there are some garbage motherfuckers I could tell you.
Yeah,
Inu was garbage. Choji was garbage too. That nigga ain't doing. He hasn't done anything significant.
Yeah, he don't become something serious until after the fucking show.
So it's like he always getting big for no reason. Every time you see Choji, this nigga gets big and gets beat up every time. Like, nigga, why do you?
Time.
Now this guy Choji we're talking about, he is part of the Akamichi clan. The Akamichi clan, they use their calories in their jutsu. So their family jutsu, they can expand their, they can expand their bodies. They can make their hands bigger to punch you with a bigger fist. They can make their arms bigger to make them stronger. They can expand their whole bodies and make them bigger. You know what I'm saying? That's part of their jutsu. So this guy Choji that we're talking about, he's part of that clan, and he pretty much just gets his ass whooped all the time. He's always eating because the Akamichi, since that's part of their jutsu is calorie intake, he's always eating. He's always eating, always putting calories in. So he's fat, but don't call him that.
Yeah, he don't like it. He don't like it.
So yeah, that's who Choji is. He's part of that clan, and yeah, like we were saying, man, he always. You just see him expanding, and he either expands and has an unsuccessful attack, or he expands and gets beat up somehow. So it's like he's another garbage character for me.
Oh, what about Kiba?
Kiba,
that freaking foot wolf.
I didn't give a shit. I didn't give a shit about Kiba until the when they went to go retrieve Sasuke.
Yeah,
and then I gained a lot of respect for him. After that,
yeah.
I would love for them. I think he was underutilized though. A lot of characters underutilized. That whole team, with him and Shino and Hinata, that whole team was underutilized. Later on in the story, Rock Lee and his team were way underutilized. That team should have been in the show a lot more, bro.
Definitely,
Like
up there,
a lot
right
more.
beside Naruto and Sasuke and Sakura.
Yeah.
Everywhere they went, they should have been there.
No doubt. But yeah, those are a couple garbage characters. That one sensei when Naruto was younger,
Ikura.
he used to wear the little do-rag.
Oh no, I know who you're talking about. Oh, yeah, the one with the glasses.
Yeah.
Yeah, that motherfucker, boy.
That nigga was garbage. Iruka was garbage. I've seen like some side stuff of Iruka. Like he's a basic ninja. Yeah, there are a few garbage motherfuckers that I can't think of right now. But I can't really say least favorite. I can't really think of any characters where I was just like, when they were on screen, I was just like, get off the screen. You know what I'm saying?
I'd figured you'd have had Sai as one of your characters that you looked at, that you kind of resonated with also, just because of his art, his artistic skill and his B scroll, his creativity, because everything he drew was he was able to use literally.
I never really was into his jutsu.
Yeah,
I like him as a character more than I liked his jutsu.
I got you. See, he was quiet. He was part of the Anbu, so I was like,
yeah, he came from Danzo's.
Yeah, he came
like,
from Danzo's.
There was the Anbu, and then you had Danzo's Anbu. Like,
yeah,
they were doing like the grimy, dirty, fucked up shit. You know what I'm saying? And that's where he came from, and he had to completely like change his mindset. So it's like he gave you this like he was also almost like a comedic relief because he was so fucking. He was so like socially awkward and shit like that, and he always had a book in his hand trying to learn about how to like talk to people and what a friend is and shit like that. So yeah, I appreciated Sai for what he was. Was never too much into his jutsu though. Very creative though. Yeah. It just seemed like that would take a long time in battle, and you would always have to have a brush with you, and I'm like, nah.
You got to think. Yeah, you got to think about what animal to draw out and everything too. That was the one thing that got me. But they were watermarked too. So even if they got like slashed up, they were still able to be used when they were on the ground and stuff too. I thought that was dope. Trying to think of who else was out there that played some kind of key part. The what is it? No, Killer Bee's brother was pretty dope. Man was just muscled out.
That's when he had that lightning.
Yeah.
Oh, bro, one of my favorite parts is when he fucking did that Liger bomb on Sasuke.
Yes. Yeah.
God, man, I was hoping he just broke that nigga's back. But I love that part, man. That was another one of those, because you know you have those scenes where you just fucking gotta rewind it. Like, that's one of those scenes. Like, I either rewind it, or when I just want to see something like badass, I just pull that shit up on YouTube. Or when I want to see a good fight. But yeah, when he Liger bombed Sasuke, I was like, hell yeah, I love that, man. I love that. Because we had just got introduced to the cloud, really, through them. Mm-hmm. So we got to kind of see what they were all about through that whole thing. So yeah, that was cool.
It's funny. We've gone through the show, and we've mentioned Naruto, but have not said anything on Naruto.
Exactly.
About who he is, what he's about, who he is, and then how he, being the protagonist, how he comes into his glory days, basically, in the show. Well,
we're gonna have to do a part 2.
I was gonna say there's a whole section to itself.
Bro, these anime discussions are
they get deep, man.
It's some good shit, man. It's some good shit.
What
I want to cut us a little short.
Yeah, that's what I was getting ready to say.
Because we got so much more to talk about, and we could do episode after episode, and now we can go do more research and think of more questions and shit like that. But definitely gonna do a part 2. So next episode of the Shinobi podcast, well, I won't say next episode, but next part 2 of this episode, we will actually discuss the character Naruto. We talked about a bit of the world of Naruto, some of the key and core characters in Naruto. So we kind of gave you guys like a nice foundation. And that way, on part 2, we could dive right into Naruto. So next time, we're going to focus on Naruto and his story. And with that, that'll pretty much kind of bring everything full circle and complete this whole thing for you.
Yep.
I really hope you guys give anime a shot. Give Naruto a shot. I would recommend watching it in English subtitles. But I know most Americans ain't got fucking attention span for that, so as long as you watch it, I'm happy. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But yeah, I want you guys to be open to anime. It is not hentai, even though that does exist. It is not hentai. It is anime is full of depth, it's full of character, it's full of emotion, man. It's full of badass fight scenes, it's full of creativity. So I think it should be shared with everyone. So it's brought much joy to my life. I know it's brought much joy to your life, and we're here sharing our joys with people. So hope you guys look into exploring a little more anime, because as you see, we're having some philosophical discussions on what some of you motherfuckers look at as cartoons. You know what I'm saying? So just know never to look at the surface of things, man. It's always something deeper. All right.
And it's
Smoov, the mic is yours.
There's a anime for everybody out there, man. Don't think you just got to watch just Naruto at all. Like there's plenty. There's sport ones. There's even fantasy ones within the show, within anime. There's some that have deeper meaning. 7 Deadly Sins is a huge one. I don't know if you've seen 7 Deadly Sins. I think you put me on the 7 Deadly Sins.
No, that's one that I've only seen a few episodes. Like maybe 3 episodes, maybe.
You might have to dig in deep on that now.
I remember you put me up on. No, you put me up on it probably like
Oh.
last year. I think it was like last
Man.
year when you were watching it, and
Oh,
I started
freaking-
watching it, and I don't know what the fuck happened, why I stopped, but I need to revisit that one because
That-
we could talk about that one too.
Yeah, that's
So
a
if
good
I
show right
watch
there.
Seven Deadly Sins, you got to watch Full Metal Alchemist.
I got you. I'm getting ready. I'll probably start on it tomorrow for you. Then I might throw
I was
on an
about to say
episode or two tonight. Honestly,
I'm about to say I'll start that shit tonight.
yeah,
I'll give you my word, and I'll start that shit tonight.
I got you. I'll lay in bed. I'll throw it on the TV and just lay in bed and watch it. But like I was saying, there's an anime for everybody, man.
No doubt.
Don't think you get left out if you feel a certain way. You can always research animes and stuff. There's plenty of people out there that have watched anime too. Reach out, man. Don't hesitate at all with it. And that's the beauty of anime too, is everybody's got something they can get from it. Because it gives so much. So definitely check it out. Even if you're more into comics, read them. You know, because it's the comics are so much. The comics have so much into them. Also, you get to see the author's actual hand touch to everything too. So
And those usually have more
out.
information.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, what he's talking about. The anime is usually a shortened version of the written version. So if you're more into reading and getting the more detailed story, definitely
Check them.
Check
the mangas out for sure. But
You
other
got
than that,
anything
man,
last things to say, man?
stay blessed. Keep your head up. I'll see you guys for part 2. I might see you for the next podcast, but I'll definitely see y'all for part 2, man.
No doubt, no doubt.
Yes, sir.
All right, man.
Yes, sir.
This is King Shinobi. I got my
Mr.
man
Smoov.
Smoov.
Yes,
This is what,
sir.
episode 3. Episode 3 of the Shinobi podcast. Episode 1 will be premiering soon. Been giving it a few days to kind of.
Oh, tell them where you at now on there with where everything's getting played out at.
Oh yeah, the podcast will be on Spotify and Anchor. So
Yes,
Spotify and Anchor, the podcast will be on there. I'm gonna put it on other platforms. It just takes a while to get all this shit set up, but from the start, now Spotify and Anchor are pretty much partners now. So
Yeah.
they'll be able to find the podcast on there. So hit it up on Spotify when it gets here. Hit us up on Anchor, Instagram as well. Yeah, man, we slowly but surely figuring this thing out, man.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and all we got to do is keep creating. You know what I'm saying? Keep creating, and then just watch this thing
Flourish.
grow, man. We still
Hell yeah.
rookies. We still growing in the game, but we about to become pros out here, man. We
Hell
already
yeah.
on our way. You know what I'm saying?
For sure. For sure.
So much love to y'all. Remember, give anime a shot, man. Some good shit out there. Check out Naruto. Check out Bleach. Check out Full Metal Alchemist. Check out Black Clover behind me. Check out
that's a
Princess
good one.
Mononoke. Check out Avatar, Last Airbender. We could definitely have a
We
conversation.
could definitely
about
do an
that.
episode on that one.
Bro. Check out One Piece with my man Zoro right behind me. But yeah.
Hey, Attack on Titan out there. I know you got one on Attack on Titan.
Attack on Titan. And remember
Yeah.
to hit me or Smoov up, man. Hit us up. Message us if you want any recommendations about anime, like a good place to start or anything. We got you, baby. We got
Yes,
you.
sir. Yes, sir.
All right, so we're going to sign out, man. This was a wonderful episode, man. When I had that idea this morning, I was like, this is going to be one of them. This is going to be one of them ones right there.
Yeah,
And it was, man. This was like, this shit was effortless, bro. You know, just talking about this. So I appreciate you joining me once again, man.
Yeah. Oh yeah, anytime. Thank you for having me on, man. This is a blessing. This is an honor to be on here. It's a
No
dream
problem,
come true.
man.
Yeah.
my pleasure, bro. All right,
Yes,
man.
sir.
We're going to sign off. Shinobi Podcast signing out. Much love to y'all. Peace.
Peace.